Podcast ini dibawakan khas untuk anda oleh SPS Realtors.
Untuk hemat jual beli rumah, sila hubungi mereka di 86888676. Ya. Ya, selamat datang ke podcast Biar Betul. Saya Haid Benga.
Saya Hara.
Saya Deden.
Kita Wembat. Kau tak nampak aku kan? Kau cuma dengar aku je kan? Kau tak nampak aku kan? Because you can't see me.
Bodoh.
Kau cakap kau nampak aku?
Siapa?
Itu je lah kita ya.
Hah? Tu apa?
Oh, tak. Exogen aku. Dia paling popular tau dalam kita punya podcast.
Iyalah.
Pasal kita je dia.
Okay.
Tapi kita kat sini kita bukan nak berbual tentang John Cena.
Ui.
Kita bukan nak berbual tentang Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Bukan.
Kita bukan nak berbual tentang Tatanka. Kita bukan nak berbual tentang Scotty to Hottie.
Turn it up.
Kita bukan nak berbual tentang Ultimate Warrior. Kita bukan nak berbual tentang Trish Stratus.
Ui.
Ui.
Touch kena boleh. Kena straight ni.
Kita ada tetamu.
Ui.
Dan tetamu ni namanya sangat-sangat popular di Malaysia.
Ya ke?
Dia ada lingko dengan Peter Schmeichel. Dan banyak juga nama-nama dia di Tintin Biscuit.
Ya.
Jadi tidak Let us welcome. Tongue twisting maafkanlah aku.
Kau takkan dapat intro macam gini dah bro.
Dah, one thing dah setahun lebih aku tak datang studio, tak berbual dengan korang. Dah.
Let us welcome. Kejap, salah page. Let us welcome Dennis.
Halo.
Ui, apa khabar Dennis?
Baik, Alhamdulillah. Korang apa khabar?
Alhamdulillah.
Tadi aku cakap dah setahun lebih tak jumpa
Kau dah datang. Dia pun dah 3 kali
Ini dah third time lah.
The third time. Kau pun dia 3 studio ke?
2
je?
2 lah.
Okay.
Rumah touch dia tak datang lah.
Tak datang Kau Woodland Studio 2 kali.
Woodland Studio 2 kali.
Ui. Dengan sini sekali lah.
Ni dah break virgin lah.
Jangan. Lain bunyinya kalau kau cakap kat sini.
Lain.
Okay,
yes.
so
Welcome back.
So Danish is obviously a local celebrity.
Yeah.
And the reason why kita panggil dia is bukan untuk interview dia pasal dia punya acting experience.
Ya.
Kalau korang tengok baju dia ni, dia ada logo ataupun lambang Grapple Max Pro Wrestling Studios.
Aku tak tahu asal aku daripada sini aku nampak macam Gag Max.
Itu.
Pasal
Kau only read this kind of things.
Pasal apa sekarang chest aku dah besar sikit. Jadi
yalah.
dia nampak gelombang dia.
Goyangkan sikit chest kau.
Tak nak lah. Nanti kena sensor. Nanti banyak pixel.
Oi, pixel lah.
Pixel.
Nanti orang cakap riak.
Riak takabur semua aku tak nak.
Ya.
Okay, so the reason why Danish di sini it's not because kita suka panggil tetamu kita yang dah lama. Kita baru panggil Adam Shah agak dah lama tak datang. Kita panggil balik. Danish kebetulan pula actually he will be making his wrestling debut.
It's a new Danish lah. New face Danish lah.
Nama Instagram handle dia pun dah tukar. Niche Ways
WACE.
People Ways.
Okay.
Oi.
Ada orang tanya macam mana nak sebut Triple Waist?
Bukan. Tak apa, it's censored.
Oh, okay.
Belum tak.
Apa kau nak cakap tadi?
Okay, niche _ WACE.
WACE itu apa?
Betul kan? People Ways. Nak niche
Kasih dia tembak.
Aduh, ya Allah Akbar.
WACE itu apa?
WACE, okay, is basically apa-apa yang aku buat lah. Apa ni, sekarang aku dah letak wrestler inside aku punya profile.
Kau wrestling?
Wow. Episod ni pasal apa?
Saya tak tahu.
Saya tak tahu.
Kau jangan bocil sangat. Tapi aku nampak gag match.
Gag match. Jauhnya. Okay, aku dah masuk wrestling. Then I'm an actor, comedian.
Kau acting juga?
Semua aku cakap. Comedian cakap.
Comedian juga?
MC juga.
Tembak.
Salah tembak. So it's all of that lah. So, aku macam fikir macam nak letak apa lagi ni, because aku tak nak buat Instagram baru for aku punya wrestling. I rather keep them all together untuk aku punya professional life. So might as well rungkaikan semua sekali, letak semua. Pasal I feel like macam banyak sangat Instagram account pun dah macam banyak sangat lah.
Kenapa wrestling? Of all,
dia lebih suka lah. Dia main live apa?
Dia tapi nak tahu juga. Kau tak nak interview ke? Ini interview.
Balik.
Kau boleh tipu tak tahu. Aku pun tak tipu tak tahu. Kenapa wrestling?
Dia main live kan? Sila ceritakan.
Okay, apa tadi soalan kau?
Kenapa wrestling? Dalam banyak-banyak entertainment aspect. Obviously kau dah mention kau dah buat sampai 3 kan. Acting, comedian, and also MC.
Biarlah saya jawabkan. Saya manager dia. GB Hut.
Mana kau dia lah Hela?
Dah tak pakai lagi. Zaman apa lah Hela? Dah tua.
Pakai mikrofon lah sekarang.
Jadi sebenarnya saudara Danish kita ni.
Kau belum Melayu je.
Yes. Jimmy Hatui. Dia berminat dengan dalam segi bidang wrestling, iaitu Gusti. Ya, jadi dia pernah jumpa saya untuk kompos lagu. Jimmy Hut banyak kompos lagu betul. So Michael lah, Hogan semua lagu-lagu dia dia suruh kompos lagu untuk dia punya handles. Dia nak tukar nama. So dia tanya, aku nak
ni GB Hut ke Pocky Pig, mana satu ni?
Dia macam yang Goldust yang kena electrocuted lah.
First question aku tanya dia, what do you like most? Dia jawab simple aja.
Chicks.
Dia jawab simple. You should ask me second, because first I still like to watch that kind of videos. So, kau nak ketawa tak ni? Kau nak kena tahan.
Aku nak kena tahan.
Okay. So first dia suka Paul lah. Second baru wrestling.
Selalu gitu
Selalu gitu.
Pasal apa? It's a contact sport. Jadi kau suka berpeluk.
Lagi pakai saudara-saudara je kan.
Kadang-kadang tak pakai.
Nampak? Aku nak cakap.
Jangan ketawa.
Kalau tak tahu boleh jawab.
Okey, jawablah.
Berbalik kepada soalan aku. Kenapa Gusti lah?
Okay, kenapa wrestling? Actually untuk yang kenal aku, diorang akan tahu yang aku memang wrestling fan daripada time aku gain consciousness lah. Sebenarnya cakap apa sekarang there's a thing where cakap bila kau gain consciousness kan. So the first thing aku ingat dulu time aku punya earliest memory is aku dekat Johor. Bapak aku suruh aku tidur. Pasal ini aku dekat living room. Diorang tengah tengok TV. Dan dah malam nenek aku, pakcik aku semua kat sana. Dekat TV tu, TV kecil tu, aku nampak macam ada ring kat dalam. Ada satu orang rambut
panjang,
dreadlock. Dreadlock.
The Ring kau tengok?
Lord of the Ring. Bukan Lord of the Ring.
Tak, The Ring.
The Ring.
Hantu.
Tu 2002 kan tu.
Kasih please. Dah tak boleh recover. Kasih je.
Tak ada. Dia Facebook. Dengar aku tengok. Aku terkejut.
Sambung. Dia ada dreadlock.
Lepas tu aku ingat dreadlock. Lepas tu ada satu orang tengah naik motor down the ramp.
Keep rolling.
Is that?
Keep rolling.
That's me.
That's kau Undertaker.
I'm okay with that.
So aku punya earliest memory is wrestling. And to the point where nenek aku
tengok wrestling juga nenek kau?
Nenek aku tengok wrestling juga. But she won't be there for aku punya match lah. Seram juga dia tengok cucu dia buat wrestling. So that is aku punya earliest memory. To the point where sampai sekarang sampai tak boleh keluarkan lah. I thought it's like a phase atau apa, macam kejap nanti boleh tengok. Bila tengok bola kau akan
tukar minat,
wrestling. But then no, it always divert back to pro wrestling. And also aku pernah buat satu statement dekat one of aku punya tuition teacher, which is also aku punya cousin. Dia cakap dalam bahasa Inggeris dia cakap, what do you want to be when you grow up? Tapi cara dia cakap, kau nak jadi apa ni sebenarnya?
Yalah, first kau jawab tu, second baru kau jawab wrestling lah.
Tak, aku first cakap I want to be a wrestler.
Oh, tu first answer.
Dia first answer. Pasal that time aku dah buat macam cardboard box punya apa ni, aku buat cardboard title semua.
Ui.
To that point Aku potong.
Ui,
kau tahu yang dekat belakang drawing block keras tu. Aku pakai yang benda tu. To the point aku bawa beli spray paint, aku paint semua. Kalau aku simpan kalau aku ada gambar, aku boleh tunjuk orang. Aku dah tak tahu dah benda tu kat mana.
Makanya Undertaker dulu gini tak? Bila dia nak sebelum jadi wrestler.
Tak, Undertaker
dia space semua dulu
gali kubur.
Tak, dia lagu yang bunyi bong tak ada bong.
Bong tak ada.
Bell lah.
Bell
apa boing doing
dong.
Ada Undertaker punya horn.
Undertaker punya horn.
Dia lain sikit lah.
Ni under party.
So tadi kau cakap pasal someone with dreadlock tu. Siapa tu?
Itu actually
kita kena teka lah. Fun. Aku teka
dreadlock in the
Booker T lah paling famous.
Late twin orang putih. Mak Saleh.
You didn't know. Dan. Yes, better call somebody.
Aku nak British Bulldog. Tak.
Bukan.
Actually British Bulldog pun ada juga. Tapi this one is Road Dog. So this segment is yang Undertaker datang balik from injury. Dia datang balik as American Badass. Lepas tu dia pukul the corporation.
So nenek kau tengah tengok tu lah.
Itu yang aku ingat. Dekat TV kecil tu aku ingat. Because
nenek kau tengah pakai baju apa tu?
Dia tengah pakai sekop lah. Baju nak tidur lah.
Ingat dia pakai baju
apa? Dia nak pakai baju apa? Yang kau tanya.
Dah suruh aku tidur. That means dah gelap tu. Aku tak nampak. Tapi that's the earliest memory aku ingat. And it's stuck until now. Time secondary school aku tak boleh shut up about wrestling. To the point where orang semua dah ketepikan aku cakap, dia ni akan cakap pasal wrestling all the time. So apa ni, lagu pun aku nyanyi lagu wrestling. All of these things semua is, aku dah macam taksub lah.
Taksub lah.
All of Me semua lah. Lagu semua dah keluar.
All of Me apa?
Lagu wrestling lah. Ada kan je lah.
Tu bukan lagu John Legend ke tu?
Bukan.
John Legend. Macam ni.
Aku macam bukan lagu.
Salah.
Bukan Legend Killer, John Legend.
Bukan Joey Legend.
Joey Legend.
Tu lama punya. Okay, so kau berbual pasal kau suka tengok wrestling. Tak semestinya orang suka tengok wrestling dia nak jadi wrestler. Macam dia tengok porn, dia tak jadi porn star. Kau jadi?
Aku tak.
Dia belum grow up.
Aku yang selalu
bila dia grow up dah jadi.
That's the reason why we call him here. He need advice. Kan number one dia suka tengok tu. Kita kena ajar dia dah. Janganlah tengok. Jangan tengok tu semua lah.
Jangan terlalu taksub lah.
Recovering addict lah.
Okay, kita punya last interview. Kau datang jam
Tu Huyung Hayang.
Tu Huyung Hayang.
Huyung Hayang mau mabuk
Slip disc.
Salah,
Enjok lah.
Huyung Hayang mau mabuk babe.
Jadi aku ada this impression that kau is injury prone lah. Jadi kenapa kau still go to wrestling?
Okay, one thing about aku punya injury that time, it happened like so suddenly. Is because before that aku memang not active. Aku tak active. And at point of time body weight aku pun dah exceed aku punya BMI to the point where I was overweight. Pasal aku pendek.
Yalah, senang
BMI kau
senang tinggi BMI.
Kalau pendek senang tinggi. Yes, correct. I mean like in scientific term, kalau pendek dia senang tinggi kan.
Tu yang orang cakap the L shape rule lah. Yang pendek setengah tinggi.
Tak, itu kuning.
Lain.
Apa ni?
Lambat sangat kau sambut. Kau tak tahu the rule?
Aku tak tahu.
Kau tak tengok midget punya lah.
Kau
Betul dia. Aku before that aku memang dah overweight and like badan dah close to 85 kilos lah. So my body is not used to that. Used to that weight. Lepas tu bila that thing happen, bila aku kena slip disc tu, aku tak boleh jalan untuk 3 bulan. I mean like I shared this personally dengan korang lah. But okay, thank you. So after that dah 3 bulan tu aku dah slowly recover. Bini aku pun dah tolong a lot. I really thank my wife for that, for helping me untuk get myself into recovery lah. Then satu kali tu ada this posting keluar, ada budak Lesel nak buat short film pasal wrestling.
Ui.
Wait, ni bila ni?
Tahun lepas.
Just last year lah.
Just last year. Okay, exactly last year. Sekarang bulan berapa?
Bulan 6.
Bulan 5 tahun lepas.
Tak exactly tu.
Exactly lah, macam tu lah, plus minus lah. Salah, ya kan ni. So like a year ago, there's this posting about Laselle student nak buat short film pasal wrestling. Saya dia orang pun fans. So aku cakap aku pergi lah. And now aku dapat the role. I got the role. And at the point of time I was still recovering. So aku macam okay lah, tak ada job, tak ada apa, TV tak panggil ni semua. But then I wasn't at my best shape lah. So aku nak kena like, kita shoot bulan 5, aku nak kena betul-betul like workout lah, make myself feel better. Tapi tu gym. Then when kita nak shoot at the ring is dekat Grapple Max, and I train with them in 2019. Kira macam main-main lah, try lah, tengok kalau okay.
Free trial lah macam gym.
Ini
trial.
Lasal buat depan shooting
kat Grapple Max.
kat Grapple Max
dekat dia punya Grapple Max studio kat Ubi.
And you have to wrestle betul-betul.
Yes.
Not as an actor lah,
As an
macam
actor,
tapi kena wrestle betul-betul lah.
Tak ada stuntman. Kita buat stunt sendiri. Aku dengan member aku, kita pergi audition. Lepas tu end up kita dapat tu role. End up aku macam okay, tapi body still not there lah. Macam aku punya body tak condition lah to all of this impact.
Okay, before you continue, kau pergi audition macam mana? Apa kau buat yang kau dapat?
Dia kasih aku skrip macam buat promo. Aku tak ingat apa aku kena cakap. Tapi dia skrip, dia kasih skrip.
No stunts. Audition no stunts.
Tapi diorang, aku cakap nak sangat turun kan, pasal tak ada acting job semua. Aku cakap you know I train with this Grapple Max. Oh yeah, we are shooting at their studio. Oh okay, better. So I know Greg lah, the coach. Konon lah.
I also know
Greg, you know Greg lah.
Yeah. The Hammer Valentine.
Betul lah. Betul juga lah. Kasih.
Bagus aku suka.
Okay,
aku pun nak cakap dah sama.
Greg the Hammer Valentine, nampak sangat tua.
Dia part 2 je dah tua. Apa dia sekarang?
Hulk Hogan asal daripada muda sampai sekarang sama je dia tua.
Hogan time dia
pakai
muda.
barang.
Dia pakai barang.
Bukan semua pakai barang ke dulu?
Ya. Tengok Jimmy Hart,
dia pakai barang tapi tak
pakai spek.
Dengan lap hela barang tu.
Silakan
Sambung. Okay, so kau dah pergi kat
audition.
So aku pergi audition tu. Lepas tu bila dah dapat, and then we go to the studio lah. Dan aku macam, after kita shoot semua, dah ambil bump semua, ni semua kan, entah betul ke tak kita buat. Aku macam
makin gian lah.
Macam best lah ni.
Ui.
Okay, apa kata kita go for like a trial class lagi lah. Trial class.
Kau kena detail apa yang macam best. What do you do kat sana?
Okay, so apa
because
yang
kita tengah main F, yang kau ni ada slip disc. Kau faham tak? Macam mana kau, okay, let's say audition tu ada stunts, and then macam mana kau boleh macam tak takut-takut, you know, that kind of thing. Ke kau macam lupakan sakit lah, just go je lah.
Adrenaline is one thing. Aku lupakan sakit.
Yalah.
Tapi after that,
cakap tanya aku tahu.
Aku manager.
Apa bukan kaki tu bodoh.
Dia bukan Greg Hammer Valentine, dia The Brain.
The Brain, Bobby Heenan. Heenan kau. Dia mau tu Mr. Fuji.
Kita manusia yang dihinen.
Dia bukan Bobby, dia Bobby Heenan.
Kau ajar. Hebat kau. So jadi kau adrenaline and kau lupakan, and kau just go je lah.
Go je. Pasal apa? Bini aku cakap, aku during aku punya recovery phase tu, aku macam down lah. Like aku tak boleh buat ni, tak boleh buat tu. Aku nak buat apa? I lost my job and aku tak boleh berlakon ni semua. Aku tak boleh jalan. Lepas tu bila aku dah recover sikit, okay, I want to do something lah. I want to move around. I want to go to the gym. I want to go for walks, go for a run. Tapi run aku tak boleh lah. Run aku tak boleh sangat. So aku end up macam, okay lah, I go for this audition and then it will kickstart. Ni audition adalah asbab untuk aku start pergi gym. So at least ada destination yang aku pergi. So before that, aku buat chiro, aku buat physio, aku buat swimming, apa bagai semua, just to recover, untuk aku punya body to be holistic lah. Alhamdulillah it help. And then bila kau dah rasa dah okay sikit tu, tak lupakan sakit lah. Jangan sedapkan sangat sakit. Nanti kalau tak makin menjadi.
Yalah.
So aku just go. And then one thing I realise, ever since aku start training, my body is stronger. Pasal dia tahan sakit, dia tahan lasak. Before that aku tak tahan sakit. Pasal apa? Aku elak benda lasak. So I condition my body to take impact, to take pain, to basically get used to this shit. Bila badan kau dah biasakan diri, your mental will think, ni tak ada apa-apa lah, go. Tapi kalau dah extreme sakit tu, just be mindful.
Kau conditionkan badan kau as such. How long does it take?
Makan masa juga, macam 4 months.
4 months.
To get used to it.
The starting part, ada tak rasa sikit macam sakit? Ada sharp pain
pedih,
ke? Pedih.
Pedih je.
So bila kau rasa pedih, kau takut tak nak pergi balik doktor ke, tanya ke, is it okay, is it safe? Do you have a professional punya advice that it's safe for you to wrestling ke tidak?
Aku at that point of time nak pergi doktor pun kadang-kadang aku fikir 2 kali pasal duit tak cukup.
Alamak.
To be honest like this wrestling hobby is a hobby. This wrestling is a hobby and it's a very expensive hobby. So kita pun macam fikir macam mana aku tak ada kerja ni semua.
Kenapa expensive?
Because one thing is the resources they need to use, and basically macam gym membership lah.
Okay.
Gym membership is a very expensive hobby, but and at the same time kalau kau macam aku nak presentation punya style kau nak dapat barang-barang yang baik punya. Jangan macam pergi Decathlon setakat nak beli knee guard yang tak ada support punya, lepas tu dah okay. I really want the best of the stuff. Macam aku punya knee guard is actually aku beli from Japan. Yang import punya. Just because it is specifically for pro wrestling. So
sumo?
Taklah. Pro wrestling sumo lah.
Sumo tak pakai
Yokozuna, Rikishi. So that is expensive one. Is kita membayar diorang untuk ajar kita, tenaga pengajar diorang, at the same time untuk diorang punya rentals and stuff like those kind of things, and to make the resources better for them. But then it's a span of 5 to 6 months lah. So bila aku dah biasakan diri tu, kira macam okay, I feel happier. Aku found aku punya zen lah. Pasal depan time nak cakap acting job tak masuk, and it's not because aku masuk ni pasal aku nak nak orang attention. And aside from that, it's just that I feel that it is a sport that can satisfy,
dia pun tolong kau lah,
that satisfy aku punya theatric punya need aku punya, untuk persembahan aku, untuk karya aku, untuk berlakon aku, at the same time untuk aku keep fit. Jadi siapa lagi yang boleh buat macam flip, boleh buat handstand? Sekarang aku dah boleh buat handstand. Dulu kau suruh aku handstand, aku macam mana nak buat ni?
Dia
tunjuk. Hari ni kota aku dah habis.
Alah,
aku straight from training tadi.
Alamak.
Kalau boleh nak riak-riak lah, tapi
berpada ni jangan like kita selit. Semua kita selit.
Semua boleh selit. Nanti tengok Instagram aku kalau ada
buat handstand.
But like in all seriousness, they teach me how to understand aku punya body. It is really helpful untuk aku as an actor also, untuk understand badan aku. Okay, what is the extent I can go?
Ya, aku nak sidetrack sikit. Bila kau cakap kau tak begitu cukup duit untuk ni semua, kau tak dapat kau continue kau punya job as an actor kan?
Tak dapat continue maksud?
Means there was a point of time, I think until now lah, kau dah stop acting Is it? Kau masih ya?
Masih.
Yang pasal slip disc kau tak boleh kerja?
Yeah, because some productions wouldn't want to take a risk on if anything happen to aku, they wouldn't want to take that risk. And it's not I'm blaming anything on them. Is that aku faham kalau mana-mana kerja pun kalau ada basically a walking fragile item, diorang pun tak nak pegang lah. So I totally get it. Aku totally faham. And I need to do something about it lah, to get myself out of the slum. Takkan aku cakap, alah kau tak nak ambil aku pasal aku sakit belakang, alah kau tak nak aku pasal aku injury prone lah, whatever this kind of thing. So I need to do something. Aku pergi gym, aku tak faham, aku angkat ni, okay dah settle 45 minit dah balik. Tapi bila aku go to wrestling, it's guided. And at the same time kau learn something lah. Kau learn something new every day. Kau buat suplex satu hal, kau boleh buat macam keep up susah sikit lah. Tapi macam how
keep up betul tak?
Can you keep up? Very boy, lose my mind. Very boy, lose my mind. Kan? Apa? Dia mesti Beyonce
Shawn Michael punya lah, keep up the flip.
Dia macam flip dia dari lantai.
Itu taekwondo.
Ada juga.
Itu daripada Asian punya. Kan, correct me if I'm wrong lah.
Correct you if I'm wrong also.
Is daripada Asian punya
Civilization Museum.
Apa nama dia? Martial arts.
Yes. Keep up with
Actually English. That's where the keep up come from. Dia suruh kau keep up.
Tekanlah.
Dia suruh kau keep up. Kalau kau tak boleh buat ni, jangan.
So balik kepada soalan dia tadi, aku nak kau tambah sikit lah. Because aku kenal kau at that point of time, the last interview, you were doing a full-time job. So kau have to leave that job because of your injury. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
And then kau getting lesser acting jobs. But you are still doing MC lah.
I'm still doing MC. MC.
Supplying kau punya, or rather sustaining kau punya,
sustaining my life lah. Me and my wife punya life lah.
Okay. Kau mention tadi about acting and satisfying kau punya karya tu kan, kau punya creativity, punya hunger and thirst. How has acting helped kau to become a wrestler? Is it very helpful ke macam tak lah?
Totally different.
Totally different craft.
Ada link lah.
Orang yang tak tahu acting better, jadi they start from scratch. What's your thoughts on that?
Ni ada susah sikit.
Memang soalan aku loaded.
Selalunya kalau susah kita kasih dia. So wrong answer.
Tu salah. Tu bukan susah, salah.
Atau kau skip next question lah.
Tak. Actually is that's a very good question to ask. But it's a very difficult thing. Pasal orang lain orang akan ada lain jawapan. Yes, correct. Yes. Macam some people can take wrestling senang.
Apa yang kau senyum?
Kau punya yes.
Betul lah.
Betul jawapan. Yes.
Imagine kalau like ada orang bila dia masuk is diorang dah consider athlete lah. Athletes where diorang dah tahu macam nak buat ni. But for some diorang theatrics lebih, tapi diorang fundamentals not that good. So macam untuk aku masuk, aku theatrics lebih. Aku, and also it helps that I've been a fan. I've been a fan, aku faham. I know like, oh ni apa maksud dia. Dia kalau cakap take a bump, okay, I know what the hell is a bump. Aku kau pump lah. Take a bump, face front bump that means depan. Ataupun do a roll. Okay, aku faham that kind of thing. Tapi ada orang kalau kau cakap macam tu,
lebam.
Okay,
aku
boleh.
bijak.
Boleh bijak.
Kalau the French lah.
Lebam. So dia macam ada orang macam akan blur lah, like macam apa benda dia berbual ni. And initially was tough for me recovering from the slip disc, getting to be active once again. Aku punya role pun macam udang mana yang pusing-pusing. So to answer that, it's subjective lah.
So pada engkau mungkin it may not be effective for some actors to transition to wrestler pasal dorang tak faham the physical side of it. Is that correct?
Diorang tak faham the entire thing.
The entire thing.
Ada macam tengok. Yes, aku suka tengok. Ada yang cakap aku suka tengok tapi aku takkan buat. Aku punya orang macam, ya aku nak buat. Pasal aku nak jadi macam apa ni, Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Shawn Michaels, This kind of people where aku macam aku nak jadi macam
Big
dia
boss man.
Big boss man, a bit too big boss man.
Yokozuna.
Tak lah. Aku serius apa. Okay pun big boss man.
Dia tengah berbual pasal wrestler kecil-kecil tu semua tau.
Aku tengah cakap yang kecil-kecil Rey Mysterio. Tahu big boss man.
Okay, so kau mention tadi, okay, aku faham pasal wrestling tu. Aku tengok WWE especially, dorang selalu pilih athletes. Tadi kau mention that those athletes have a bigger advantage because they know how to take a bump, they know how to sell and all this. Not really sell lah, take a bump lah. Basically the physical side of it lah. Running ropes semua senang pada dorang lah. So dorang, for them to transition is easier. So WWE selalu ambil football, former football players, basketball kalau tinggi besar, athletes lah in general lah, wrestlers ada. So they usually will take from there instead of actors. Diorang jarang take actors, and actors yang boleh transition to wrestler tu tak banyak boleh tau. So those celebrity yang diorang panggil 50% cannot make it when they come to wrestling.
Not even 50%.
More than that lah.
90%.
Only just 1 or 2 yang bagus.
Yang sekarang Logan Paul
is good.
But Logan Paul is not really actor kan. Dia influencer lah.
Influencer.
YouTuber lah.
YouTuber, influencer.
Ada yang macam Hollywood actor yang jadi wrestler. I mean, selalu kita nampak from wrestling to actor kan. Not actor to wrestling.
Okay, actor to wrestling ada satu this guy. Kau dah tengok cerita Cobra Kai tak?
Tengok.
Ini serious question.
Betul lah. Betul lah.
Danielson
lah.
Tak. Kau tahu ada this character nama Stingray.
Stingray tak tahu.
Gemuk-gemuk.
Sampras.
Ui, kasih.
Sedap pula.
But dia baru make a transition lah.
Dia sekarang champion bro.
Champion ya.
Sekarang like in independent punya scene. Macam dekat US they have their independent scenes kan. Macam the smaller leagues yang bukan WWE, not broadcasted anywhere. So he is actually one of the orang punya wrestler. And he trained to be a wrestler. And actually he's doing pretty well lah.
Yeah.
Tapi dia gemuk-gemuk and pendek-pendek macam tu. So not stereotypically Hollywood punya style. But then he has this where people will be macam, ni pelakon jadi wrestler siut.
But other than him, yang lama-lama lah, Mr. T. Tapi tak bagus wrestler.
Mr. T tak, Mr. T is an attraction.
Banyak yang macam gini ni attraction lah. Diorang wrestle, diorang
ada game
apa?
Mr. T pernah match
Ada.
Dengan siapa
Macam Hogan lah.
Dia pernah dengan Roddy Piper. Dia pernah boxing match dengan Roddy Piper dekat WrestleMania.
Tapi aku ingat yang dia tag team Hogan
lawan Roddy Piper.
Dengan
Paul
Orndorff.
Aku ingat yang rantai-rantai semua dia kasih kat Hogan pakai.
Tak, itu ada dekat one of the WrestleManias where Hogan dengan Mr. T lawan Paul Orndorff ke Cowboy Bob Orton.
Paul Orndorff I think. Dengan Roddy Piper lah.
Tak, it's not Roddy Piper.
Then Bob Orton dengan
Paul Orndorff.
Iron Sheik.
Shiki baby.
Jadi very seldom lah the actors can make the transition. Selalu dong sikit-sikit lah attraction lah. Dong tubuk sekejap. Snoop Dogg, musician banyak juga ada.
Bad Bunny was quite good. Bad Bunny was like surprising lah.
Because why? Wrestler is an actor. Actor is not a wrestler.
Kasih diri kau macam Matt Horn lah.
Which is
ni yang cerita ni Horn apa? Undertaker kan?
Tak, apa ni Hitman cakap is actually quite true. Wrestler is an actor because why? They need to act like diorang betul-betul aku dengan kau members tapi aku nak betul-betul macam nampak macam aku nak bunuh kau ataupun aku nak belasah kau sampai mati. And they need to act, they need to sell
the theatrics of it lah.
They need to really sell the theatrics to make sure that the viewers will percaya that diorang memang nak lawan. But an actor does not necessarily mean can become a wrestler. Pasal apa? An actor kadang-kadang kalau diorang buat stunt, kau cakap macam Arnold dia buat macam this action punya filem tapi pakai stunt double. Dia tak boleh take stunt. And also diorang ada insurance on their own lah. Pasal diorang punya cari makan is acting. So if anything happen to them rabak lah.
But does acting help in the other parts of wrestling lah? Kata of course wrestling also have promo cutting kan. Dong sell a story lah. Dong berbual on the mic and kadang-kadang cut promo on a video format. Does that help? Or kau belum that stage yet in terms of kau baru start kan?
Aku recently just did my first promo to sell aku punya first match for aku punya debut match dengan aku punya partner Maximilian. This guy Maximilian, he is a stand-up comedian. Dia buat stand-up, and it helped us a lot because kita boleh bounce off each other. Acting and also like performing, being comfortable in front of the camera, in front of a microphone really helps a lot. Sebab you can basically be comfortable depan kamera. Ada most of them athletes, tapi bila depan kamera dia orang macam
cam shy lah,
camera shy, ataupun macam dia orang kasih points. Pasal kalau some of the promo they will give pointers. Jadi actor faham, okay, kau kasih aku pointer, aku boleh elaborate. Kau suruh macam, okay, maybe you can pull that, okay, I can you can pull that line a bit, okay, I can pull that line.
And some tak boleh lah.
Boleh.
Aku cam shy.
Kau cam shy?
Kau syaitan. Cam shy.
Kurang ajar tekan lagi.
Tembak lagi.
Jadi dia.
Okay, macam mana pula macam wrestling persona kau pula? What is kau punya wrestling persona? Is kau macam this arrogant ke, ataupun this
you already that stage dah boleh ada karakter semua.
Okay. Sekarang belum boleh. Belum boleh lagi. I am entering as myself. I'm entering as, tapi in a sense aku boleh letak macam aku punya understanding of who I am lah. Tapi macam tu rupa karakter macam aku tiba-tiba macam Mr. Iguana ke apa benda, tak boleh lah.
Iguana man lah.
Tak boleh, belum boleh lagi. Sebab not that level yet. So for this one, for the upcoming 21st June, I am still myself. I am still I'm using niche lah. Aku pakai niche. Sebab I am transitioning that person that you see on TV into this law of professional wrestling. So that siapa-siapa yang follow aku yang dekat Instagram will see macam, oh, it's the same guy. Dia tak ada macam tiba-tiba macam apa tiba-tiba dia tukar nama jadi macam Michael McShawn apa nama dah, that kind of thing. So make it reason lah.
Yalah, Shawn Michael je lah, apa Michael McShawn. Betul juga. Kejap, Cop, aku nak tanya kau dulu. What is the criteria to be a wrestler? Macam kau, kita nampak macam you are quite small lah kan, kau faham tak? So bila kau nak pergi sana registration ke apa-apa, what is the criteria? Ke dia suruh kau besarkan badan ke apa ni semua?
Ni aku boleh jawabkan. Kau kena pergi MDIS.
Ambil meskom
There's no criteria sebab in Grapple Max yang the people that sign up, everyone is welcome.
So it's like macam nak masuk Evolve ni semua
macam
lah.
Nak masuk sports group lah.
Okay.
Nak masuk gym.
Okay, so they will train you, and then sampai okay, now back to yang tadi kita stop. Which phase yang kau dapat boleh adakan character and have that kind of match?
Okay, so ni aku nak kena step by step The first part, the debut ataupun the new graduation match is basically kita datang as diri kita, who we are, but we already have a set moves list, set list of moves yang kita boleh pakai.
Name also same, must be original name.
Original name, ataupun kau nak cakap aku nak gelar diri aku as
nickname boleh lah.
Nickname boleh lah.
Okay.
Macam Danish aku pendekkan jadi Niche. Dan pasal sekarang TV pun aku pakai Niche. So but after that, macam kau dah ada a few match reps, a few matches into macam 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all of those, how many matches in, kau ada idea, kau boleh pitch. Kau boleh pitch whether it makes sense untuk diorang punya company MO diorang.
So basically once you have followers as a wrestler lah, then you can change a bit.
Not necessarily followers. Once kau dah macam biasakan diri and kau dah ada idea kau nak present, and okay, kau nak bawa, okay, try lah. And whatever presentation you want, if they are okay with it, macam dia punya head coach semua, if they are okay with it, only then kau can be a character.
Aku ada suggestion untuk nama wrestling kau. Since Danish kau pendekkan jadi Niche, kau pendekkan lagi jadi Ishq. Orang India yang suka. Betul lah.
Panjangkan Ishq ke Tambola lah.
Tak, Ishq ke Bina Kiajina kan.
Ish.
And away yang sampai try kalam game. This is Ishq ke Bina Kiajina yang
Podcast ini dibawakan khas untuk anda oleh SPS Realtors. Untuk khidmat jual beli rumah, sila hubungi mereka di 86888676. Okay, we are now back with SPS Realtors Abang Nias. Hello.
Assalamualaikum. It's good to be back.
Waalaikumsalam. Dah lama kita tak buat product talk. Betul. So now finally we welcome you back here. Because we have a lot more to discuss about the property matters here in Singapore, kan?
Of course, always a lot of matters and issues that is being discussed.
Okay.
In respect of property here.
Okay, alright. So kita just straight away dive in lah. Sure. I have the first topic for this evening regarding kenapa some properties will never appreciate even in a hot market. So kita kan appreciate, kita kan macam increase in the value. Yeah, so you say not every property gains value even in a hot market. Why is that?
Well, to begin with, there are various types of properties in Singapore. Okay. I would say across the board now. Not all properties are desirable. Not all, even in a hot market, property value will live in demand. But there are some properties which does not correspond in the same manner.
Okay.
Due to sometimes poor layout, bad facing, poor location.
Bad facing kira kan apa? Facing the direction of the macam
west facing, or is facing a spot which is not desirable to some people.
Okay.
Or for example,
industrial
area, correct.
Okay.
Industrial area, for example, facing
very near
a place of worship.
Okay.
Okay, for example, face the rubbish center.
Okay.
Bin center. Okay, these are the least desirable elements when we choose a property. And of course, when I say those elements that I've mentioned, it doesn't attract buyers. Yeah, and of course, demands drives appreciation in value. Not just the timing of coming in and going out of the property.
Okay, so that I think links to my second question. Regarding you just gave some reasons why property doesn't appreciate well. So those are the some things that you list just now.
Correct.
Facing macam undesirable places, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, of course. To add on to this, low floors units, low floors units, and as we mentioned, poor facing next to rubbish chute, also awkward layout of the unit. When I say awkward layout, where units certain space become a dead space, where nothing can be converted into that space. So these are the issues that will affect the appreciation, and also the leases of the property. The older the lease, we all know. Sorry. The older the lease, as some people call it, lease decay units. Of course, the price will depreciate, and if a block or an area which has so many similar listings which is for sale, of the competition will obviously pull down the prices.
But you are saying that those that doesn't appreciate well, but then when you buy that property, the price will be lesser, right, compared to the other like more desirable property. So in a way, it's kind of pay off, right? There's a bit of a payoff in that. Like you get that property at a cheaper price, but then the appreciation won't be as much as maybe the higher floors because it's of a lower floor.
Well,
but then you get a cheaper price.
See,
right?
when you mention when you go for this kind of units, obviously you'll be paying way below the market value. But then again, I always tell my buyers, when you are selecting a unit, put yourself in the shoes of the next possible buyer that is going to buy your unit. And what would he appreciate your property, or how he would look at it? When you put yourself in that manner, then you have a better idea. Sorry, my throat. Then you have a better idea how other buyers would treat or would view your property. at probably 5 years from now or 10 years from now. Because as you know, Singapore is dynamic. Whenever there's a vacant land, you see something sprouting in the next couple of years. So there will be competition, and there will be others that come into the market to contest what you have.
Okay, so let's say a seller's unit is one of these categories lah. What can they do?
Well, if there are sellers out there who hold these kind of properties, which are, I would say, a bit challenging, then the countermeasures that normally we propose would be to focus on the presentation of the unit first, and of course, right pricing. Stage the unit well, as in keep it neat, tidy, and if it needs a coat of painting, we normally urge them to do so. Of course, strong marketing as well, and realistic price. We have to be realistic with the pricing of such properties, and also we have to manage the expectations of the sellers. Yeah, if these are all addressed, then sorry, we also must tell them that the unit that they are holding will not be performing as well as other units, which is not imposed on the factors that we mentioned.
Will there be extremes, macam you make them renovate the house a bit more before you market the place?
I won't say renovate. I would say, in our term, we call it staging.
Staging.
Yeah, staging, that means we get people to come in and probably refurnish or refurbish or touch-ups, yes. But renovation, it is quite a bit extreme.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's for the seller. So does it, for the buyer point of view pula, does that mean buyers should avoid older or cheaper flats?
Well, not necessarily, because there are some older flats which have certain attractive
charm to it.
Charm to it, correct. Okay. Some older flats still in great locations, you know, and these are the flats which are still able to appreciate in value. But we have to look beyond the renovation, and of course the balance lease of the unit, and also the layout. We are looking at just the future demands of this flat.
Okay. So how can someone make sure they buy a unit that can appreciate?
Very important, we have to think like the future buyer who's going to purchase our property. We have to choose a unit which is of great layout. When I say great layout, which is squarish, which is easy to furnish, easy to place your items which is supposed to be in the house. If possible, on a high floor with a good facing. When I say good facing, that means it's facing
greenery, nice landmark,
or even an open area, as long as it's not west facing, because as we know, west facing is least desirable. And then location wise, you know, close to amenities, MRT, good schools. These are always units that will be in demand.
Okay, all right. Thank you for sharing all that.
Yeah, and a quick takeaway is, when you purchase a property with an exit in mind, not every flat will appreciate, even in a hot market. So always choose something that will be easy to sell when it is your turn. That will help quite a bit.
All right. Thank you so much, Abang Niaz. So, welcome. If you guys are in this category and you are, trying to find out what to do with your property, apa lagi? You can contact SBS Realtors at 8688 676.
Thank you.